Okay, I'm going to do a quick video on how to do the basic install of the Wyze 8800. When you first hook it up, you're going to have to figure out what line voltage you have in the new facility, and then set this device up so it's relative to the power that's in the plant. For instance, we're doing 208 volts three-phase in here, and we have this one set to approximately 210, 208. While we're in here, you'll see we ran all new high-flex cables to the sensors. The original cables that were in here, many of them had failed. The interior lines of the cable had fractured and weren't making good continuity, but the outer jacket was still intact, so it was hard for somebody to figure out what was going on if the sensor was bad, but it turned out that the cables, most cables were bad. In here is your inputs and your outputs on your PLC. Also, you got your contacts. Check rotation once you have power on. You've also got your overloads down here. If they ever need to be reset, that's where you reset them. On the side here, we had some discussions about the incoming power. Basically what we did is we have 3 legs coming in. L1, L2, L3. That's the black ones that are labeled L1, L2, L3. The red, the white, and the black are to a separate box on the end of the machine for doing your vacuum, and we'll show that before we start running the machine. These two here, that's your 110 volt, and that's tied to a separate line with the neutral and the ground. So that's the incoming power. And then back here on the outfeed side of the machine, there's an additional box, and that has its own motor starter with a plug. So that's where your vacuum is going to power up. I think that was an afterthought on this particular machine. So now we're going to demonstrate the basic operation of this machine. If you go to options, it'll bring up the ability to turn on and off certain devices on the machine. Everything is currently turned on except for the deadbolt. This machine will do an ADP manual, but to do it you have to go, each time the machine you unclamp it, this screen disappears, so you'd have to go back in and open that up. So we try to simplify things for you. This machine doesn't have a separate ADP button without a loader. It relies on the loader to start the ADP. So we added another button to do an ADP start without having to go back into this screen. It's basically just mimicking if there was a loader here. It's just going into the loader input for ADP start. So when you put the door in, make sure that the door is far enough in to clear this pad. Once the door's in and you hit ADP start on this blue button here, the device drops down, pushes it all the way against the sensor on the other side, which then pushes it back. In this instance, we're doing a right-hand door, so the right-hand door header is on the left side of the machine. You have your ability to select left and right up here in the top. One of the things I didn't show you, I'm going to back up here for a second, is if you want to change the number of daily count, number of doors, you go into login. The login password is reset. Oh, I did that wrong. Do that. So it's reset. Enter. And then reset again. Enter. There's another enter button here. And then you go into this screen, and that allows you to reset it, both the reset daily door count and the reset daily time value. I'm going to leave them so you can see how many doors we've run through this door machine. So back to the ADP. So we slide that in, hit the ADP button. Okay, now you see the flashing button, that's your jam stops. It wants you to press it to get your jam location in. It will not cycle start without the jams being energized. This is a left-hand jam, but we're going to run it like a right hand just for demonstration. Once I press the cycle start, the carriage is going to come forward. Once the carriage bumps the door, it clamps up and starts automatically. You don't have a second chance if you want to position something, so make sure you have everything where it needs to be, and when that comes forward, okay, so we processed the door. At this point, you can put the hinges on. Most everything through the screen is pretty self-explanatory, I believe. If you want to eject, you hit the eject button. We can't do that. We don't have enough room to eject out. To change to a left hand, hit the button. To go to an 8-foot, 7-foot, 8-foot. Change your hinge size. Change your hinge size. It's not as straightforward as just pressing the button. You also have to go and change your, right here, it's manual router bar shift. So you have to hit that button, and you'll see down here the router bar shifted over, so you'd have to move your spacers depending on what you want to do. Red and red for 4-inch, red, yellow, yellow-red, both out for a 4.5-inch. So then you have to de-energize this when you're done, to allow it to go back. So that's and also it changes your back set. So if you are doing a, let's say, a 4.5, it automatically goes to a 2 3/4, but you may not want that. So you have to shift it back again. Okay, we'll go back down 3.5, and that should do it for this demonstration. Thank you.